Welcome to Fierce Femme Radio, Money, Magic and Manifesting with me, Lou George, and visionary women, entrepreneurs, leaders and creatives from all around the world, helping you to elevate your mind, body, soul, business and life. Welcome to this episode of Fierce Femme Radio with me, Lou George. My guest today is Laura Hamilton. Laura is a self-confessed jack of all trades as a TV presenter, a serial entrepreneur, a travel and property expert, a pilot in training and a mom. In this episode, we talk all things business and Laura generously shares some of the details that helped her to get started in her career in television, to her business career in property and her cafe and bistro Lord Roberts on the Green. We also talk about managing all of the things, business, motherhood, life and everything in between. I'm so excited to introduce you to Laura, who you may already be well familiar with as one of their lead presenters on A Place in the Sun. And Laura has also been on our screens for many years, including in programs such as Dancing on Ice. Enjoy this conversation and please come and let us know what you think. Give us a like, comment and share this with your friends and community as well. Introducing Laura Hamilton. Welcome, Laura. Hi. We just had a bit of a chat before we press record, but thank you for coming on the Fierce Femme podcast. It's so good to have you here and I'm so excited to talk about all things business and being a woman entrepreneur with you and so much other stuff as well. How are you doing?
Yeah, good surviving as we all are. Obviously,
I know
that we've had things are hopefully going to start opening up and we can move forward. And you know, it's great because one of the things I'm guessing we're going to talk about is coffee shop and restaurant that I own.
Yeah.
And obviously, from the 12th of April, we will be able to open the outside space and start trading in the garden.
Yay, amazing. I bet you can't wait. So I want to go kind of back and then circle back to the coffee shop and talk about like how you got started. I love on your Instagram that you say you're a jack of all trades because that really resonates with me and a lot of the women that I talk to actually, and I don't know if this resonates with you, but when I kind of first started out in my career and was trying to find my way, I was so multi-passionate and I still am. But early on, it caused me a lot of frustration because I couldn't pick. And I had so many people saying, you've got to pick something, you've got to do one thing, you've got to focus. And I was like, but I love this and I love this and I love this.
Totally resonates with me.
Does
totally.
it?
Yeah, because you know I used to have TV meeting after TV meeting, and I always wanted to break into entertainment TV, and everyone sort of said, well, you need to focus, stick on one thing. And obviously property became a big thing in my life anyway. It's always been a big thing since I was 19, like buying, doing up, selling. So like that felt quite natural to follow the property route. But then I don't think that life shouldn't have to be just about that. You don't have to have one career. And actually, what we've gone through in this last year has proven to us all that we all need multiple streams of revenue income. But when you are just doing one thing and you're solely relying on that, then when things change, you're a little bit screwed. So I am passionate about property. I am passionate about travel. I am passionate about business. And think you shouldn't be afraid to give things a go, set things up, and don't expect all of them to work out. But at least you try, and if it doesn't, you'll take something away from it, learn, and then move on. I think it's so interesting actually when it comes to setting up business as well, that once you've done it once, you realize how easy it is to set up a company or company's house, and you become a director, and then you can start assigning shares to people and stuff, and it's actually a really easy thing to do. I think I'm already like a director of about 4 or 5 companies, which isn't loads, but it's still a few, so it's exciting. So I guess it goes back to it's not just doing one thing. I've got 5, my name's down as a company director on 5 different companies, and all of them are completely different.
I love that. And this is one of the conversations that I'm most passionate about having, is this idea about being a multi-passionate person, entrepreneur. That term itself for me, hearing like multi-passionate entrepreneur, I was like, yes, that's me. Like not just trying to fit myself into a box of being an actor or a presenter or a coach or whatever it is. but I can do all of these things and I can have multiple businesses. And like you say, it is actually relatively easy. And I think we just get in our own way, or, you know, society's typical expectations of go to school, college, uni, get a job and stick to it and then retire. It's so outdated. And like you say, especially this day and age.
I do think it is hard for certain people and probably, as you say, like, you know, certain generations to accept and go, okay, so what is it that you actually do then? Are you this or are you that? And you're like, well, no, you know, I've got this, and, you know, something might happen with that, and I've got this, and this is all good. So, but that's what being an entrepreneur is.
Yeah, it is. That question itself can be quite overwhelming to answer. Someone said, what do you do? Well, a few things, actually.
I mean, so look, I'm a blooming postmistress, for crying out loud. I'm a qualified postmistress.
Are you?
But yeah, because I brought back the local post office into the community, and okay, it's not run as a post office anymore. It's a coffee shop, but I brought it back and I got the qualifications as a postmistress. Had you asked me,
brilliant,
2 years ago or 4 years ago when we set up the business, would I have done that? I said, sorry, why on earth would I become
why would I do that?
But, you know, I did it. I got the qualification, and yeah, just you never know where life's going to take you, right, when you take on these things.
So did you always want to be a TV presenter? You said you wanted to break into entertainment. Was that something that you were always sure of that you wanted to do?
So I always loved performing, always loved entertaining. Got to age 15 and had to sort of make those decisions of where am I going to go? Am I going to go, you know, study A levels or what path? And my parents had always said to me, get an education, Laura. You know, you always need something to fall back on if you want to go and pursue these things, this career in TV or performing. Just have a backup. So I finished my GCSEs, but around that time I was 15. I did some work experience at the BBC and worked on, it was a program called The Ozone. So, you know,
it rings a bell. I can't remember exactly.
It was presented by Jamie Theakston, The Ozone, and Jane, I can't remember her surname. Anyway, so I did a week's work experience at the BBC and absolutely loved it and thought, God, this is what I want to do. Yeah. But then thought, okay, well, I've got to do my GCSEs, got to get my A levels, and got to do my A levels, and then had to make a decision: am I going to go to uni or am I going to try and get a job? And so I thought, right, I'm going to write to loads of TV companies, and I ended up getting offered a job as a runner at Channel 4 when I was 18, just before I was 18. So I deferred my uni placement for a year. And basically, I never looked back. But what I learned pretty quickly was to learn my trade, learn about behind the scenes in TV. I learned very quickly not to go around, because I was a runner, not to go around and say, I want to be a presenter, because that's what everybody did.
Yeah.
Actually, it was far better to, you know, be a runner, become a good runner, then find out where I was going to go next, become an AFM, assistant floor manager, you know, be a good assistant floor manager. And before I knew it, I was sort of being taken in all these different directions. I was working as a second assistant director on a show called Family Affairs and The Bill. And then I used to work as a third assistant director on films such as like Harry Potter, Goblet of Fire. I would do sort of like dailies. I'd work on music concerts as a assistant stage manager, production assistant. And so before I, you know, knew it, I had grown quite a colourful CV of working all these different events and things, and absolutely loving my career behind the scenes in entertainment, in TV. But I got a lucky break 4 years after doing that, and ended up on a kids TV show on CITV, and that's how it all happened. But I always said at the time I was loving what I was doing in TV, and it was the right industry for me to be in, whether I was behind the camera or in front of the camera. But I learned about what everyone does and how. And I apply this to every single business that I would now set up. That it's so important to know what everybody does on every level, whether you're washing up in a coffee shop, whether you're, you know, the pot wash, to the supervisor, to the manager, to being behind the scenes in telly, whether you're a runner, your assistant floor manager, whatever you are, any level, any industry, that wheel doesn't turn in that machine without every element of the cog or the spokes making it happen. And I think when you appreciate what everyone does, you become a far more respected boss of your company.
Yeah, absolutely. And also having the knowledge to be able to step in and to be willing to kind of be hands-on and help out where needed, like everybody does, and especially in a relatively new business as well.
Yeah,
I love everything you shared in terms of your background as well, because I think so often we see people on TV and think their lifestyle's so glamorous and they're so lucky, like, or they just came from nowhere. But actually, there's so much for most people. It's very rare that somebody is just plucked out of obscurity and like suddenly is, you know, on TV or famous or whatever. But actually, there's a lot of work, years and years of work, and like you say, starting off at the bottom, working your way up, and getting to know every aspect of what you're doing as well.
I do think now times have changed, though. You know, it used to be back then when I started in TV, God, like nearly 20 years ago, that you got a break as an entertainment presenter and you almost didn't have to have, you know, an area of specialism. Whereas now it does feel that, you know, people do have more areas of expertise behind them. Then they break into a specialist area of presenting. And then if they so happen to get, you know, switched into, you know, an entertainment TV role. Just to give you an example, like Mel Gilroy, if that's how her name correctly.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
she's obviously had an incredible career. You would never have ever picked her as like an entertainment TV presenter. You know, she was, you know, Mel and Sue, a comedian. I remember they used to together have some like newsy lunchtime program, but she was very sort of like fact ent. Then she was like a comedian, and she made that transition. You know, but her CV, like if she'd have broken into TV a long time ago, asked her, I bet if people were saying to her back then, you know, what do you want to do, she would have never been considered as an entertainment presenter. But I've seen her entertainment shows with Graham Norton. So yeah, I do think times have changed somewhat, and if people are wanting to break into it now, I would say find an area of your expertise, especially. That's not to say that you can't have multiple areas in your life, but find one of those, focus on that, and then use that to break into presenting.
So did that help you with the property then, or was that something, did you kind of fall into property presenting, or were you obviously interested in it from a young age anyway?
Yes.
But did you deliberately pick that specialism?
No, it happened organically, actually. Because I, without even realizing, when I bought my first property at 19, little did I think I would ever become a property presenter. I was just buying a property ladder, and it just so happened to be a little granny flat that needed renovating. And 3 months after buying it, I was working as a floor manager on a shopping channel. I lost my job and was made redundant. So all of my friends were at uni, you know, getting student loans and loving life. And I was loving life, but I'd taken on a mortgage and you know, bigger responsibilities. And so at that time I thought, right, okay, well, I haven't got a job. I'm going to move back home. I'm going to let it out. And the income that I was getting from the flat meant that it was paying more than my mortgage was costing me. And I saw it as a business opportunity of like, okay, so let's grow on this. Let's build from this. So in many ways, property was my backup because I love TV. And it was that backup that my parents had sort of advised, you know, that I should have when they were saying to me, get your education, I would always say, well, do you know what? I'm going to, property is my backup because I'll just buy and do houses and, you know, on the side. And as it happened, I ended up earning more money from property than I did working as a TV presenter. But then when I was in kids TV for 4 years, I then did Dancing on Ice. And a year before I'd done Dancing on Ice, I met the team from A Place in the Sun. And the only reason I ended up being able to meet them is because when they said to me, yeah, but you're a kids TV presenter, what's your experience? And I'm like, yeah, but I've actually bought and sold 9 houses since I was 19. So now it's 16 and obviously a commercial venture, but as well with Lord Roberts and the Green. So that was how, like, almost a hobby, or, you know, something that I was doing in my personal life, I brought together my professional and my personal life, and I've ended up becoming a property and travel TV presenter. So yeah, you can't. Sometimes in life, I guess I was just talking actually to my PA about this. Sometimes in life, you just don't know where life is going to take you, and I'm quite. I know, a lot of people might go, "What?" But I'm quite a spiritual believer of cosmic ordering. You visualize, you want something to happen, you write it down, and it can happen. Once you've written it down on that paper, on that bit of paper, you've committed to it happening. And I really do. I do believe that kind of positive mental attitude. It works.
I love that you said that, because obviously I don't know how much you know about the work that I do as a coach, because we obviously just met on Instagram recently, but the work that I do as a coach is very spiritual and based on, and actually it's grounded in science. It's about mindset, right? It's programming your mind, your subconscious, and that works with, I like to think of it as like a higher consciousness to manifest things. And as you say that, this is my cosmic ordering book. Those of you listening on the podcast cannot see this, but I have like this rose gold glittery, of course, notebook, and that's where I do my cosmic ordering. So like you say, writing it down, and actually, once you've committed to that, it's out there. It's like, I think it's getting out of your head and onto paper. That is your ordering. That's putting it out there to the universe.
What I would say is one of the other sort of biggest keys to success is focus on yourself rather than others. And I know in this day and age with social media, it's very easy to constantly make comparisons to ourselves with other people. Oh, look what they're doing, look where they are. They're being far more successful in their career as a TV. What does that achieve? What are you actually taking from that? Unless that's inspiring you or giving you drive to kind of go, okay, that's where I want to be, and that's what I'm going to make happen.
Yeah.
If it's giving the negative effects of making you feel crap about yourself because you feel like you're not achieving like they are, don't look at it. Don't look at it. Put your focus on you, and that doesn't just apply to you as a presenter or wanting to get into TV, but it also applies, as a business, because I've definitely owning a coffee shop, like bistro. Of course, I look at other businesses in the area, look at our competitors, and could be like, oh my God, look, what are they doing? Well, it doesn't matter. You know what? Don't focus on them. Just focus on what you're doing.
So how did Lord Roberts on the Green come about? Was it another kind of you following the flow of life? Yeah,
pretty much. 4 years ago, the local village shop and post office was closing down, and I went to a community meeting and listened to all these men in suits saying how they were going to try and buy it as a community shop and run it between them. And I just sat there and just listened and thought, I can't see how that's going to work. I just don't see how it's going to work. And I'm pretty sure there were a few other people in that meeting that felt the same. But I came home and I said to Alex, my husband, right, let's do something about this. And he was like, what do you mean? I said, we should what? Let's do it. And his first response was, well, how's that going to work? Because we've got 2 children. You travel abroad, a lot of the time. Like, where are we going to find the time? We've never run a coffee shop. We've never had a business like that. How are we going to do it? And I was like, well, we will. If someone says to me something's impossible, you can't do it. If anything, it just spurs me on to just go, come on, we can. And that's actually the way I want my children to grow up and believe as well, that there's definitely a way about going about things. You're nice to people. You don't tread on people as you're trying to do this. But anything is possible. And so we did it. We took it on 4 years ago. It was a commercial redevelopment and a residential. It was a split residential and commercial. So we created a flat above the shop, a semi-detached house, a commercial space, and built the brand and created this business. So bit by bit, we've sold off. We sold off the flat. We sold off the house. We've got a plot of land with it as well. And then, we've got the shop, which, oh God, who knew that
I know.
Do that, and then we would be faced with what we were faced. But I've got to say, again, we've been incredibly lucky that where the coffee shop is based, it's on a beautiful village green where everyone exercises, and there's nowhere else open apart from our place. So we've probably been one of those businesses that over the last year has gone like that.
Amazing. I was going to ask you about that actually. So you've been doing takeaway throughout lockdown, which is incredible. I was saying to you before we hit record, we just moved down to Cornwall in October, so feeling blessed to be down here. But same thing, there's like one coffee shop open, and it has become the hub of the community, like not just for people exercise, but for everyone. It's like that one. Kind of like a beacon of light, that's how I see it anyway. I'm like going there every day for my coffee, just for that sense of normality, having that sense of routine and somewhere to go outside of home every day, but also to connect with people. And you see like elderly people going there every day, and it's I think often their only point of contact with people. Yeah. And it is a lifesaver, mental health wise, having that sense of normality, whatever that means these days.
Yeah, it's not only for the community, it's for the team, the staff that work there as well, because they've all retained their jobs. They've all had a sense of purpose going in, keeping their shifts as normal, know that they're really helping people in the community. We had a member of staff who he joined us. We've known him for a while, but he joined us during lockdown because he lost his job. He was working for a very well-known company, very senior. He got made redundant, having worked there for 30 years, and loves catering, loves baking, came to work with us for 6 months, and then has just got another fantastic job over at DHL. And so, obviously we were sad to see him go, but we knew it was only ever going to be a temporary thing, him being with us. But, he just said, you saved me in lockdown. It was amazing. So, and then we've got 16-year-old girls who have written cards to me saying, Laura, I just want to thank you for helping me get through this situation from a mental health view. And actually, when you get those letters from members of the team, you think, okay, it's great that our business has gone like that, but actually what's more important is the fact that we've helped the people in the community and the staff.
Yeah, that is humbling, isn't it? It kind of gives you another sense of purpose. I think it's like, oh wow, this is actually more than a business. It's more than just a profit margin. It's actually a really important it's a movement in a way. Yeah. So congratulations on that. So, and from April, able to open up and actually get people on tables again.
I know.
It's so bonkers, the conversations we're having these days.
I know, but we've gone through, when we look back over the last year, the crazy times we've had. We're open, we're closed, we're open, we're side. Oh, and then there's the Eat Out to Help Out scheme. And I mean, what the hell was that all about? Just insane. We had to restructure our till system, our
crikey,
costing us more money because it was the accountant, because it was only on certain days of the week and Monday to Wednesday, wasn't it? It's like, what on earth? But aside of all of this, what concerns me most about anything, being a mum, is the long-term mental health effects on the children and society, because we don't even know. We have no idea how this is going to affect our babies in 4, 5, 6 years' time. And that to me is the most scary thing, far scarier than coronavirus.
No, I agree. I actually shared something on my social media, on my Facebook yesterday, about the continued or the mask policies that are coming in and things like that. I mean, it seems to be just going further and further, more extreme in separating children from what they need to grow and thrive.
Well, my son said to me 2 days ago, Mummy, how old do I have to be before I can wear a mask? I mean, what kind of question is that from a 7-year-old boy? How old do I have to be to wear a mask? Like it's something that he's excited to be able to do, wear a mask when he's old enough. I mean, no longer the conversations of, Mummy, how old do I have to be before I can, I don't know.
Drive a tractor or whatever it is,
How old do I have to be before I can wear a mask?
It's insane. That's what, I don't have children actually of my own, but like most of my friends do. And, as a coach as well, as someone who really understands how the brain works in terms of programming, it is frightening. Are your kids going back to school? You've obviously been doing a lot of homeschooling. How's that been going?
I don't know how much they've learned from it. What I do know is they absolutely hate screen time. They have rebelled against, I mean, they never ever had a lot of screen time anyway. The only times they would watch screens were literally on an aeroplane when we were flying somewhere. We've never been parents who have, okay, they watch TV, but we've never been parents that have wanted our kids to get into gaming, or because we're a very active, sporty family. So we've encouraged, you know, and which is why I think it's been particularly difficult for my kids, because my son used to swim 2 hours a week with a club. He was playing football, he was playing tennis. You know, every night of the week there was physical activity. And the last thing they want to do is try and do any of these extracurricular activities virtually when schooling is virtual as well. And so again, Rocco just said to me, I hate my iPad. I don't even want to be on it. You know, they don't want to come and watch, they don't really want to watch TV very much. They want to be playing Lego, but it's just their poor minds, their frustrations. It just makes me so sad.
From what I've seen on your social media, though, like you say, you're very active as a family and you're out and really engaged. Have you created some new kind of routines and like family? Actually, it must have been nice to be home more with them as well.
I've enjoyed being at home for sure. I definitely wouldn't say that I've been bored. Oh God,
no chance.
I think social media is a funny old thing, because you know, we can all think we can look at social media as it come back to what I said before, that we've got an idea of what someone's life's really like, but we only show what, you know, we want people to see on social media, don't we? And
yeah, of course.
Sometimes I think, oh God, like I'm even conscious of that, of like Rocco, he's like, oh mummy, don't put that on Instagram or whatever. Whereas Tanya, I think Rocco has a real struggle with anything screen, anything social. And then, you know, you're on it and you think, oh God, I'm failing as a mother, you know, I shouldn't be on it, I shouldn't. So it's, you know, we have our challenges, of course we do. By no means are our children well behaved and, you know, good the whole time. It's definitely tough. But, you know, if I put on my social media the meltdowns that I have with Talia or whatever, people will be like, Christ. So, you know.
Well, this is, I mean, you know, this is true of every family, right? And especially in the last year, everyone has been doing the best they can with what they have, like really. And it is all new. We're all finding new ways to live and be and manage businesses, children, all of the things. You know, it's been a massive learning curve and has tested all of our mental health and well-being. One of the things that has inspired me, that you have shared on social media very generously, has been your fitness with your trainer, which I've loved. Because honestly, that's the thing. I used to actually be, one of the things is coming back to the jack of all trades, I used to actually be a fitness coach. And I've kind of really got out of that now. I'm working more kind of at a desk these days than I'd like to, but you've really inspired me, because I'm like, yes, I really need to get back into, you know, that level of fitness and just sit, you know, I must admit I've probably been sitting there having my coffee and biscuit while I've been watching it. And I've just seen snippets, but it looks like you've got a really good routine there, and actually I'm sure has inspired so many people, because it does, you know, when we see other people, if we're that way inclined, it's like, yes, okay, great, they're doing it, so I can do that.
Yeah, do you know, I'm now doing Wednesday and Saturday with Harry. So I've been doing quite a lot of online fitness really since last March, since it all happened. And it's funny because I didn't quite appreciate, I mean, I've always loved fitness, I've always loved going to the gym, but I didn't quite appreciate like how big a part of my life it really is, and how much I do need it. And you know, working out, okay, it's only twice a week, but that's cool, because in the rest of the week we'll do other things as a family, whether it's, you know, try and go out on our bikes or go for walks in the park or whatever. But it's a half an hour workout on a Wednesday morning, a Saturday morning, and for me it's always great getting it done first thing. You know, you feel really set up, ready mentally, physically for the day. You're like, right, okay, I feel energized. And yeah, I've really, really enjoyed it. I do miss going to David Lloyd, obviously, but whilst we haven't got that, doing this has been brilliant.
Yeah, nice.
And Harry, who I'm working out with at the moment, is a really amazing trainer.
He looks like a bit of a taskmaster. I mean, the bits I've seen, I'm like, crikey, I'm not going to dive straight into working out with Harry.
But then, you know, like the other flip side of the coin, there's Kate, who I also work out with, who, like myself, is a mum, and you know, she does her workouts crazy early in the morning, like 6:30. I've done a few with her because, you know, like other mums, if we were homeschooling, or you know, you have the kids to deal with, whatever you're doing for the day. It shows mums, or dads even with kids, how we just have to fit it in and do it wherever we can. It is possible.
Yeah. I want to kind of go on to a different topic now, because this is something I'm really excited to hear more about from you. And that is you being a pilot in training.
Well, that's on hold as well, right?
I know. But how was that something that you had always wanted to do? How did that come about?
Dad's got a private pilot's license, PPO.
Has he?
And so I actually grew up always saying one day I would love to do it. And my grandparents left me some money, not a huge amount of money, but they left me some money. And my mum and dad said, look, they want you to do something with it that isn't paying off a credit card or, you know, just wasting it on something. What do you want it for? And so I'd said to my parents, look, I'd like to do this. And so we paid all the money over to the aviation, the flight centre, the school, and then I did like 16 hours and love it. Like it's mad being up in a plane, and like the sense of freedom really is incredible. But I can't do anything at the moment.
I know, that's frustrating. Had you flown with your dad quite a bit? Yeah, so you'd had that experience of being in a private plane.
Never been in control of the plane. No. I mean, I've done one takeoff and one landing, albeit a bit.
Have you?
And you know, you've got an instructor by your side, but yeah, I'd never been in control of the aircraft in the way that I have now. I went on James Martin's Saturday Kitchen a while ago, and James and I talked a lot about flying, because he's got a pilot's license and a helicopter license as well. And he was like, oh, you just you know, once you fly solo, when you do your first solo flight, it is like nothing else you will ever experience. So hopefully it'll be before 2025 when I get money.
Fingers crossed. I ask you because it's something that I've always wanted to do. Like as a kid, I loved flying, and as an adult, and I fly a lot with work as well. But I have to say, the older I get, the less I like flying. I've had some pretty ropey commercial flights. And I was like, do you know what? I'm a bit of a control freak. Maybe if I learn to fly, that will help me kind of. Do you know what I mean? I like to know what's going on and have like a bit more of a sense of control, I guess.
I would agree with you there. I think when you're in a light aircraft and you hit a bit of wind and there's a little bit of turbulence, definitely knocks you about a bit.
I can imagine.
When you're in a commercial, when you're on a commercial flight, in a 747, when that's turbulent, the wind outside must be pretty bad, you know, to be when you're around like that. But I just always think, oh, it's just the wind, it's fine. When you're flying the plane and you know it's a bit bumpy, you're like, okay, cool, you know, we're gonna get through this, or we'll, you know, go higher or lower, whatever. And so when you're in control, it does feel a little bit easier.
I think just to have a bit more knowledge of like what's going on, and like, you know, it's just something that's fascinating me. When I was 5, I wanted to be an astronaut, so I guess that's probably the closest I'll get to the highest I might be able to fly. I don't know if I'd ever want to do that now, but you know, 5-year-olds. Thank you so much, Laura. This has been really gorgeous to get to know you more and hear more about your journey. As this is for women entrepreneurs mainly, and we've got lots of females starting businesses and looking to grow their businesses right now, if there was only one nugget of wisdom you could leave them, what would that be? Say all of your work has been wiped out, there's no social media, and you can just leave one message for other women or other people who want to create their own businesses, their own careers.
I think for me, it just has to be, you know, don't be fearful of it. Just go for it. Don't be afraid to achieve your dreams. it just, if there's no social media, I mean, I think that's what we have to come down to, that nothing's going to happen with you sat there thinking about it. Just do something about it.
Yeah.
And no one can make that happen but you.
Thank you so much. Good advice. I love it.
Or not, but
it was. I talk about this all the time as a coach as well. You know, we can go into all of these techniques and tools and things, but ultimately at the end of the day, you've just got to take action. Just do it. And then your confidence will grow as a result of that, right? Yeah. And you learn. You know, there's no such thing as failure.
Be afraid of the knockbacks, because the knockbacks you'll learn from each and every time. I learned that the hard way in acting and TV. All the no's. You've got to use that as a sort of like building blocks, actually, for your business. When there are things that don't work out, take that nugget from it and go, right, okay, well, I'm going to learn from it and move on. Don't see it as right, well, I'm going to give up. See it as it's going to spur me on. Yeah, good. I think you can either go one way or the other, right? You can use it, become more resilient and actually move forwards and problem solve, or you can give up. And it's up to the individual, right? I would say that I've applied that on so many levels. Sorry, we were about to sign off, but so many levels of things in my life that have happened. For example, losing my job when I bought my first property, instead of going, oh God, this is awful. What we'll do is I'll sell the property. And it was like, right, let's make the best of this. Let's rent it out. And actually, wow, look at what's happened. Another thing, when the pandemic hit, so many people said, right, so what are you going to do? Shut the shop now and just claim furlough for everyone? No, not going to do that. I'm gonna fight it. Gonna make a success of the situation, and that's what we did. And it's so easy, isn't it, to just say, oh, we'll take the easy route and just give up and just go, oh, whatever. But actually, fight it, and you can come out the other side even stronger. Thank you, Laura. This is why I resonated with you so much. I had a feeling that you would be like this, well, me too, right? And I think as women who are entrepreneurs, you have to be, otherwise you wouldn't make it. You've got to keep going and problem solve. And so I love your energy, and I really appreciate you being here, and I cannot wait to share this episode with everyone. So everyone who's listening, make sure you head over and follow Laura. Where can people connect with you, Laura? Where's the best place for people to find Lord Roberts on the Green and you? Yeah, so Lord Roberts on the Green is Lord Roberts on the Green on Instagram. I'm Laura Hamilton TV on Instagram, and I'm actually having a new website built at the moment, which is Laura Hamilton Official. So yeah, we'll all be up soon. Head to Pearly and get some cake. I was literally just drooling over the Lord Roberts on the Green later. I think it was the latest Instagram post with the gorgeous strawberry cake of some kind. I was like, oh my God. Did you? Oh my God, save me some, please. If I was still in Surrey, I would actually drive down. Have a lovely day. You too, Laura. Thanks so much. Bye. Thanks for joining us for this week's episode of Fierce Femme Radio with me, Lou George from fiercefemme.co. Make sure you hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss a future episode. Give us a like, comment, and share this with your friends and community as well. See you next week.